Ooga, fucking Ooga, cunts. It's Schmeckle. How the fuck are you tonight? Oh, not good? You're poor, you're fat, you're ugly, and your IQ is just a few points too far below average? Well, I don't give a fuck. I wasn't really asking, dipshit. Stop talking at your fucking screen, you lonely cunt. I read an article earlier, and I found out that I've been a bad gorilla. A bad gorilla. Let's hear why with my new friend Jef Rauner and his article, so before you write that anti-feminist article. Jeff's a fun cunt. I had a proper video planned for this, but my laptop deleted it, so we'll do it drunk instead. Roll the shit. Alright, cunts, let's jump right into it.
I travel a lot in what's called the manosphere, which is a loose collection of anti-feminists, men's rights activists, pickup artists, and other terribly annoying people with more web presence than brain power. These dudes, and the women chock full of internalized misogyny that are their allies, love to write articles like, why I'll never date a feminist, or give talks on why feminism is a cancer, or, I really don't want to ruin your day with these examples. Watch this short clip of Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor Who, narrating a documentary about owls instead. Better? Okay, moving on. In the interest of populating the internet with less ridiculous nonsense, I want to drop out 5 questions I wish these people would ask themselves before penning their takedown of feminism.
So, right off the bat, there's a good amount of butthurt. Jef travels the manosphere, but Jef doesn't quite fit in. Why is that, Jef? Obviously because the others are too fucking dumb to understand you, right? At least Jef was kind enough to let us know right away that he's just another typical feminist by making sure to confuse dissenting opinion with internalized misogyny. Great start, cunt. Let's take a look at these fucking questions.
Number 5. Do you actually know anything about feminism?
Unfortunately, yes.
Because it's pretty clear that most of these people have never read a feminist article with an open mind, taken a women's studies class, or opened a book by Bell Hooks or Susan Faludi or any other driving force in feminist thought. Often they freely admit this. Prominent anti-feminist YouTuber Carl Benjamin, Sargon of Akkad, rather prissily said so when he debated Dr. Chrissy Winters on feminism, and Davis Orimi, who released a whole documentary against tropes versus women in video games, admitted in an interview he doesn't watch the video series. When they bother to attend an event where a feminist speaks, they grab the floor and talk instead of listening.
It's actually pretty fucking simple to explain this. It isn't that most people haven't had an open mind while reading these articles and books, it's that, open mind or not, what you're reading is fucking nonsense. You can be as open-minded as you want, but stupid is still stupid. And the vast majority of cunts haven't taken a women's studies class because most people don't have access to mummy and daddy's money, and most of those that do choose to spend it on courses that might actually land them a real fucking job one day. As for Sargon sounding prissy, I think that's just how Brits sound, Jef, you racist cunt. Now can we hear that last line again?
When they bother to attend an event where a feminist speaks, they grab the floor and talk instead of listening.
Now that's kind of the pot calling the kettle a cunt, isn't it?
It's perfectly fine to not know anything about feminism, but it's really...
Christ, the cunts don't fucking stop. Go on, Jef.
It's apparent when you don't, and no one of substance is going to take you seriously when you insist on pontificating on this...
Alright, fuck off with that now, cunts.
...subject anyway. If you want a basic guide to terms, ideas, and other aspects, here's one that a 7-year-old can understand. I tested this on a 7-year-old personally. Maybe give it a glance through before writing. Next question.
He links here to Feminist Frequency, which is probably enough said. I don't think that it's exactly a requirement before writing something anti-feminist, although it certainly provides some ammunition. I'd recommend checking it out if you're ever suicidal but just can't bring yourself to drink the bleach. Suicide achieved, cunts.
Number 4. Do you actually know any feminists?
Unfortunately, yes.
More accurately, are you about to complain about something you heard a feminist say, or are you signal boosting something someone else said a feminist said? There's a whole cottage industry in the manosphere, and on places like Breitbart and A Voice for Men, that exclusively caters to reframing the words of feminists in ways that do not in any way make sense or resemble their original intent. If your information source is strictly a secondhand account, odds are you are not getting good information.
Now why the fuck would knowing a feminist up close and personal be required when there's such a loud, present, and annoying crowd? This may shock you, but most people are perfectly happy not to have a feminist in their lives. I agree completely that secondhand information is generally less reliable than getting the information straight from the source, but these cunts are fucking vocal. They write books, they run websites, they make public appearances, they fucking talk. I've never met Anita Sarkeesian in person, never mind sat down with her and got to know her, but that doesn't mean her views aren't readily available. Same goes for the rest of these cunts.
Beyond that, you can expose yourself to feminists rather easily for the unfiltered truth. Jessica Valenti is lovely on Twitter, as are Ego Meluo and Lindy West. Steve Shives is great if you want to mail an atheist perspective. Heck, I have a very liberal Facebook friend policy, and I'll talk to you as long as you like, provided you're polite, respectful, and can use a bloody paragraph break. Harassment is unwelcome, but information seeking in good faith is always appreciated.
Steve Shives. Steve Shives. That should probably be a different video. This is probably the point where I'm supposed to tell you not to go and harass Jeffy Boy on his Facebook, but you're all fucking adults. I don't condone it, but do what you fucking want. Fuck.
Number 3. Is this about your sex life?
Nope.
If the subject of feminism comes up and your first response is to discuss how this might affect who you get to screw, you've already lost the portion of your audience that matters, and you're going home alone. Feminists date, marry, and have sex, but this is not their only life goal, and the idea that someone who doesn't share the desire for gender equality won't boink them is not exactly keeping any of them up with worry. Most women I know find the idea of dying surrounded by cats instead of with a clueless sexist a pretty good second choice, right after finding a partner who respects them as an equal.
Now this is a bit disingenuous, don't you think, cunt? Nobody dislikes feminism because the feminists won't fuck them. As far as people's sex lives are involved, the fear is more in the fact that when feminists are involved, the chances of a false rape report soar because to you cunts, everything is rape. Your rape culture rhetoric was disproven and you cunts figured out the only way to legitimize it. Let's make more things rape. When everything is rape, every culture is a rape culture. And yeah, I can see how some people might want to avoid the possibility of some cunt claiming you raped her because he forgot to ask for consent again at minute 34.
It's gotten to the point you end up with dudes dreaming about the apocalypse and how it will empower them to buy sex with canned goods after the primal order is reestablished. They literally wish for the complete collapse of society to elevate them to meaningful enough to not totally avoid in the eyes of modern women. Call me crazy, but to me that sounds an awful lot like the real solution is maybe bettering your own lot in life. To quote Stone Cold Jane Austen in Pride and Prejudice, after Mr. Darcy claims he never learned how to not act like a jerk. My fingers, said Elizabeth, do not move over this instrument in the masculine manner which I see so many women do. They have not the same force or rapidity, and do not produce the same expression. But then I have always supposed it to be my own fault, because I will not take the trouble of practicing. It is not that I do not believe my fingers as capable as any other woman's of superior execution. In short, feminism does not exist to wet your dick, so there's really no point bringing it up.
Jeffy Boy raises a really good point here by linking to a Return of Kings article. Return of Kings are well respected and loved by all. Everybody fucking loves that cunt Roosh V. I might as well end the fucking video here. I didn't realize he was gonna fucking pull that on me. After completely defeating anti-feminists with that fucking line, he suggests that perhaps the solution is in bettering their own lot in life, as if Jeffy here isn't part of a movement that actively works to make that more difficult for men. He follows that up with a quote from Pride and Prejudice to score a few intellectual points, and then reminds us all that feminism isn't for our dicks. We all know that, Jeff, you cunt. The problem is that feminism is actively against our dicks. Christ, cunt.
Number 2. Have you ever done any basic gender inequality research? I shouldn't have to explain that gender inequality is a thing. It's literally the history of our entire species, and being anti-feminist is simply anti-statistics and anti-science.
Whoa, hold up, cunt. Anti-feminism is anti-feminist, and that's fucking it. Anti-feminist. You know, that group of cunts that like to misrepresent statistics? The cunts that like to obscure facts to cover up that their ideas have already been discredited. The cunts that do reprehensible things like interrupt discussions on male suicide. Those cunts? Does that ring a fucking bell for you, Jeff?
It sometimes seems like there's this influx of new feminist ideas, but that's only because the internet has brought academia to the average person in the last couple of decades. Most of what the anti-feminists think are radical third-wave ideas are nothing of the sort. Cultivation theory, the idea that the media we consume can influence our ideas and behaviors about things like gender roles, is a half-century old and the third most cited theory in media studies. Rape culture didn't spring up from a few college kids in the last few years. It's been around as a concept since the 70s. These sorts of things aren't fringe or new, they're just fringe and new to you.
You've got to stop being so disingenuous now, cunt. The argument isn't that these are new theories, it's that these are false theories. And you telling us that these arguments are not in fact new does not mean that they are not in fact false. But you cunts cling to this shit dogmatically, despite the fact that these things have already been debunked by people with better than a women's studies degree. This is why we call feminism a religion. Praise be to pussy.
The fact is, no country has achieved gender parity. Any look at basic statistical analyses of income and status will show men continue to outnumber women in every private and public power structure in the world. Even the places where women appear to have an advantage reinforce sexist ideas.
And any look at basic law in most first world countries will tell you that there are laws that prevent discrimination in the workplace due to gender. Now, Jeffy boy, this has been said to fucking death by now, but women, in general, tend to work less hours, less physically demanding jobs, and jobs with more flexible hours. This is due to a variety of reasons, including the decision to spend more time with family, the decision to not risk your life in a dangerous job, the decision not to ask for a raise or seek a promotion, etc. Do you see the common word there, cunt? These are all decisions. If women want to obtain positions of power within their companies, they need to work long, work hard, and be willing to sacrifice parts of their personal lives. Just like fucking men. Cunt.
The offset statistic that men lose custody cases more often than women in divorces is simply false. When a man asks for custody, he gets it more often than not, but many men are just not as involved in their children's lives as mothers due to a variety of society's sexist expectations regarding who will be the caregiver. Not to mention that despite being half the workforce, women are still doing most of the housework and parenting, which often holds back their careers and choices.
Jef, you dishonest cunt. The article that you linked to does not claim that that statistic is false. It simply tries to offer explanations for why it might be true. I'd suggest that when looking for statistics, you use one of the various statistics websites rather than the Huffington Post. You may not know this, but they're kinda well known for their biases.
Even the claim that more women graduate college at a higher rate than men, which is true, ignores the fact that this is because women enter male-dominated fields more than men enter female-dominated ones, and that even with a degree, they still earn less with it.
The wage gap is simply the average earnings of men and women working full-time. It does not count for different job positions, hours worked, or different jobs. It has nothing to do with the same job. It has nothing to do with discrimination.
You can't make the case with good science and data that women have surpassed men or that the balance has shifted to a feminized society. You only perceive it that way because male domination is seen as the default, where female equality is perceived as domination.
For fuck's sake, cunt. Nobody worth listening to is claiming that we live in a feminized society or that men are being dominated by women. You cunts haven't won yet. The problem is that feminists are working toward domination, not that it's actually happened, and not that it actually will happen in the future. Trust me, nobody thinks you cunts are winning.
Number 1. Can you name a woman you admire as an equal or your superior? During the Republican primary debate, the candidates were asked what woman they would put on the $10 bill, and 45% of them would not or could not name a historically important woman for the honor, including the only female candidate on the stage. The man who went on to win, Donald Trump, couldn't name a single woman he put in a cabinet post, aside from possibly his daughter.
I can name quite a few women that I respect as equals, and maybe even a few that I'd respect as superiors. That doesn't mean that I can name a woman that I'd put on the $10 bill, or that I can name a woman who I'd choose to run a country. When there are more women who are worthy of it, and who make themselves visible and heard, maybe that will change. Right now, the pool of candidates leaves a lot to be desired.
This is important because the ability to see women accomplishing things and feel pride and awe rather than vague anxiety is the key to sexism's continued erosion. Can you feel it? No, your mother or wife or daughter or sister or any other woman that fits into an easily defined traditional domestic role in your life doesn't count, no matter how awesome they may be. No, not a fictional woman or a historical woman either. I mean a real, living woman out there doing things you wish you could do that inspires you to follow her in her footsteps.
That's a different question. There are quite a few living women currently doing things that inspire me. Dr. Joanne Liu comes to mind, as does Sarah Boyson, or even somebody in a less important position like, say, Blair White. These women inspire me for different reasons, but the common theme is intelligence, hard work, and accomplishment. All of which were, I'm sure, the result of their inborn abilities. And I'm certain that, if asked, any of the three would respond that they're quite proud of their accomplishments. Women have this ability, and all of us have the ability to witness these accomplishments. These accomplishments are praised and reported on. Suppose that means sexism is eroded, right, cunt?
I can. I mentioned Jessica Valenti earlier, and I want to beat her if I grow up. Barring her, I'll settle for being Sky Nisley. I admire female leaders like Tammy Duckworth, Barbara Boxer, and yes, Hillary Clinton. If you can't do that, maybe close that anti-feminist article on your laptop and go take a walk. You might actually be the subject under discussion, whether you realize it or no.
Hillary? I thought you said we were only talking about living women, cunt. From what I hear, she's a hologram zombie cunt now. And to be quite honest, from the look of her, we've gone a long time without noticing that she died. A long time. But joking aside, it's excellent that you're able to find women that you admire. Not surprising, obviously, what with all the feminist bullshit you've been spouting, but it's excellent. It's once you get to the list that things start to fall apart. That's one of the problems with you cunts. You'll respect somebody simply for having a fucking vagina, regardless of whether or not they have any actual merit. I prefer that people earn respect through their actions and deeds. I guess we'll just agree to disagree, cunt. I think I'll end this here. This is round 3 doing this video, and I'm really starting to get bored of Jeffy Boy. If you liked it, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you didn't, fuck off and maybe check out Setsu 2 Cents and Teabing. Those cunts are both funny fuckers. Consider donating to Little Miss Anonymous. She'll be linked down in the description. Watch her channel too. She's got a good head on her shoulders, even if she needs a better mask. My vote is for a gorilla mask. Follow me on Twitter, Minds, and all that shit. That's it. Now fuck off! I said fuck off, cunts!